What's up, YouTube? My name is Jason, and this is my take. And I'm back with another review. And today we're going to be discussing The Game album, DRILLMATIC, Heart vs. Mind. The Game is a West Coast rap legend, and he's back with his final album. And I put that in quotes because he said that his last album, Born to Rap, was his last album. And here we are. I truly don't even know if this is really going to be his final album too. And we'll kind of get into a funny part in the album that discusses that. Whether it's the documentary, Doctor's Advocate, Documentary 2, 2.5, like The Game has been around for such a long time, since the early 2000s. And he's dropped so many classics, so many great songs, projects. So him still being here today and still doing what he's doing is amazing. Despite his many just weird, sometimes pointless rap beefs, his antics, like the Game is certified and you can't deny it. You know, if you're making a top 50 rappers list, he's on it. Like, you have to put him on it. Lyrically, he always delivers. You know, I hear people say that West Coast wise, like The Game is #1. I'm not mad at that. I personally would probably put Kendrick above him, but like I said, I'm not mad at people that say that. So we're here with this new album that we've heard about for quite some time. It's been pushed back, but DRILLMATIC is here, entirely produced by Hit Boy. So I, of course, was very excited about that. He's one of the best producers in the game, one of my favorites. But this thing is 30 songs, 2 hours. 2 hours. And no, I only listened to this album like twice. That was all I could do. That's all I could give when it came to this project. But this thing was cool. This was a good project, honestly, but it would have been great if it wasn't 30 songs. Lyrically, The Game is great, like he always has been. We got a lot of features on here, and the one thing about Game that people talk about, and I've noticed with his other stuff, is when he does have features, he tends to sound like them on these songs. And we definitely got to hear some good, some not so good, and we'll dive into that. We get a lot of disses on here that we'll discuss. And production-wise, I had nothing to worry about. When it came to Hit Boy, he did what he needed to do. The only issues I had more so were with The Game. But let's just dive into highlights first. The song Eazy that features Kanye was one of the singles that The Game dropped. And, you know, it definitely had a lot of people talking, but I personally really enjoyed the track. The Game's delivery was great. I really enjoyed what Hit Boy did on the production. It was like he reversed the 808, but it still really hit. And Kanye's verse was very interesting. Of course, he was talking about Pete Davidson and Kim and everything, but of all of his verses lately where he's discussed that, I liked this one probably the most, especially when it came to his flow. Outside featuring YG was also a highlight, and I personally knew that I would enjoy these two on a track together. Both great West Coast rappers, and YG definitely did his thing. Which made me happy because personally, I haven't been a fan of what YG's been doing over the past few years, especially coming off of great albums like Still Brazy and My Crazy Life. So this was very refreshing. I love the song Change the Game that featured Dolla $, and it's not even much to discuss here. Dolla $, the feature killer, did what he needed to do. And Hit Boy on the production, this was such a bouncy West Coast type of track, and you give that to The Game and you have nothing to worry about. How Far I Came featuring Roddy Ricch was another highlight, and it's nice to see Roddy on Hit Boy production once again. I think Racks in the Middle with Nipsey might have been the last one that I can remember. I think my only issue with this track was there was a stretch on that hook with Roddy singing where it didn't sound as good. But to me, it didn't throw off the track or make it a bad track, but it could have been some better singing from Roddy overall. My favorite produced track overall might be No Smoke at the Polo Lounge featuring Jeremih. It's so smooth and so soulful, and I personally really enjoy Game arguably the most over these type of tracks. And Jeremih was a perfect addition. I hadn't really heard from him much in a while. Maybe that verses that had Ray J and all of them in it. Easily the most complete track on this project is the song No Man Falls that features Pusha T and 2 Chainz. And I'll probably go back to this track the most because I truly can't pick out who had the best verse. We start off with Pusha that goes into the game, and we end it with 2 Chainz, and all of them brought it. Like, they each brought it in their own way. Start From Scratch 2 is another highlight, which is a sequel to the original track on the game's documentary, his first album, which is a certified classic. And the original featured Marsha Ambrosius, and it was an amazing track. And on this, the game is talking about what he would do if he could start from scratch, if he could start over. He disses Tony Yayo of G Unit, talking about he wouldn't have taken his spot when he joined G Unit, but says he's still irrelevant, and I did not see that coming. But it's the game. He will diss anybody. You know, he talks about the whole Hot 97 incident and that shooting that involved him and 50 Cent and G Unit, and how he just wished that that didn't happen to his children, and just like wishing that things would have worked with his baby's mother and maybe marrying her, and just how different that would have looked and how better things would have been between them. I also love the game's use of the sample. There's a vocal like Get Away sample in there, and the game like uses that with his rhymes, and I thought it was really creative. Absolutely love the track Ruby's Rose that featured Twista and Jeremih. And I personally don't know the last time Twista was a feature on a track, but this was so nostalgic hearing him open up on this track. He had that signature speedy flow. He really sounded the same like as he has over these last couple of decades. Like he sounded like he did back in 2003, 2004, to be quite honest. And it was just so refreshing, and it really took me back. And then we have this beat switch that was perfect. And on the second half of the track, we have Jeremih in the game, and Jeremih once again delivers vocally. And this second beat on here was more slow and way more R&B. And I was curious. I didn't really know if the game would really sound good over that, but no, he was perfect, honestly. Then we have the song Stupid featuring Big Sean, and you know, first learning that Hit Boy was producing this whole thing before we even got a Tracklist or anything. I had a feeling Big Sean would be on here given how close he is with Hit Boy, and Big Sean came through. Like, it's something about when Big Sean and Hit Boy are together, he really brings the best out of him. We got his best project in Detroit too, and their little EP together, so the momentum is still continuing with Big Sean. And then there's a song Save the Best for Last that features Rick Ross, and seeing that feature, I knew we were gonna have a smooth, soulful, produced type of track, because that's what Rick Ross raps over. That's, you know, his bread and butter, and we got that, and he came through. And the game's rapping really stuck out on this song more than others. The way he was gliding over this beat was effortless, and I enjoyed every second of it. Now, this was a 30-song album, and I just gave you my highlights, so we got to dive into the other side of things, because you're bound to have it on an album this long. It's so long, man. Let's start with the song Burnin' Checks that features Fivio Foreign. This is really kind of getting old to me at this point. People on drill beats getting that Fivio feature, especially artists that aren't really drill rappers, because this song is just Fivio taking over and killing it like he usually does. And the game is, you know, rapping with that drill like flow, and his voice is like way deeper, and I just didn't like it, and his flow didn't do it for me. It just wasn't like, when y'all think that y'all want to feature Fivio, just like give it to Fivio Foreign and let him have it. Like, this has happened on a few other projects, and I don't know, it's just getting tired. I hate that the song Chrome, Slugs, and Harmony is on this side of the review that features Lil Wayne and G Herbo. The production was cool. Like, I did enjoy the Bone Thugs and Harmony, Ruggish Thuggish Bone sample that was on there. And honestly, I like G Herbo too. Like, I like how he delivered on here, but it was really Wayne that like threw the whole thing off for me. The auto-tune was it was too much. It was way too much. Wayne is all-time great, arguably top 10, but like, he has moments, and this was one of them. It just was not it for me. That auto-tune and him singing with it, it was, yeah, it didn't do it. We get another Kanye feature on the song Fortunate along with Dreezy and Chiller. And yeah, this is one of those ones where it's like you could have like just kept it in the archives. Kanye's verse was lifeless and boring. Dreezy, I really enjoy Dreezy overall as an artist, but she was off beat quite a bit on here. And it just, didn't deliver. And this was one of many trap beats on here where also the game's flow, it just wasn't working. I personally don't prefer the game over these type of beats. But given that it's Hit Boy and it's gonna sound good, like, I would maybe have some hope with the game, but this is one of those songs where it just didn't work. Then we have the song Money, Cash, Clothes with A$AP Rocky, which is giving a nod to the original song by Jay-Z, produced by Swiss Beats of a similar name. I honestly just wanted to listen to the original Jay-Z track after listening to this one. It just was not working for me. And A$AP's addition, A$AP wasn't bad, but this song was super repetitive with the hook. And like I said, like, if it makes me just want to go back to the original that it's paying homage to, then that should tell you everything. All right, let's talk about the Black Slim Shady, which sees the game dissing Eminem for 10 minutes, and this could have been a good track. I feel like it was creative in how the game was rapping like Eminem, and kind of the production resembled a lot of old Eminem tracks, whether it's, like Stan or, stuff off the Marshall Mathers EP or the Slim Shady LP. But the game's impersonations, like, he really was going for it, and it just sounded weird. And overall, I'm just wondering what the point was with this track, especially with certain lines. Like, for example, he talked about, of Eminem's 11 tracks, he has only listened to one, but he was quoting and impersonating a lot of Eminem from different albums. So it's like, haven't you, maybe you have listened to more than one of Eminem's albums to be able to create a track like this? And even before this album dropped, the game is like, in interviews and different things, dropping disses towards Eminem, and just no one knew where it came from. And I'm honestly curious if Eminem will respond. I think that the game is a worthy opponent, but Eminem is not one of those guys you want to call out. You gotta be ready for that. So I wonder if this is sort of a strategy that the game is kind of ready for him to respond, so he can put some more stuff out, kind of how Pusha T was very strategic when it came to, the songs he dropped dissing Drake. So I'm actually pretty excited, like if Eminem responds and if they have a little back and forth. I think it'll be a great battle. But overall, I feel like the game wasted a lot of time on this track. Like, this could have been much shorter, and he still could have, got the message across. Then we have the song A Father's Prayer, which just on the surface, I can appreciate, the whole, like, father speaking to the daughter about, not dating somebody like you and all these different things. But it just seems like a running, like, thing that male rappers do, and it's just weird to me. The whole trying to protect your daughter from people like you and not wanting them to do certain things, like, but you can't control those things with your child. And Kanye did this once on a song. It just looks weird to me, like, this whole angle. And then the final track here with Chloe, Cassidy, and Chris Brown, this Universal Love, I just don't know why this is on here. I guess you can appreciate the whole Universal Love thing, but it's just not a game song. Like, this isn't something the game would do, and no disrespect. Chloe wasn't doing it for me, and that's very tough to say because I love Chloe. Chris Brown doesn't really impress me these days. I personally don't even remember hearing Cassie. Like, I just don't listen to this track that much, honestly. I could have done without it. Honestly, Save the Best for Last with Rick Ross would have been just a great way to end this thing off. And then the final thing I just wanted to touch on was this Drake interlude, Drake with the braids interlude, because it was one of the funniest things that I heard, easily the funniest thing on this album, where Drake is basically explaining why he can't be a feature on the album. He can't send the game a verse because he's very busy doing stuff with the Canadian government and being on vacation. And I don't know. I could have done without it, but it was actually pretty funny. Drake sounded like he was like he just woke up on the phone sending this voice message. It was very weird. And you know, Drake talks about, you know, he'll be able to eventually get one in the game because he knows that this also won't be the game's final album, which I 100% agree with Drake. So maybe we'll get another Game and Drake collab in the future. But overall, this was a good project. Like this was good, but why it was 30 songs in 2 hours? I hate long albums. I don't care if my favorite artist drops it. Like, I don't like these long albums. And the Game just he couldn't hold me for 30. But if this would have been chopped in half or maybe 13, 14, we really could be talking about rap album of the year. Which, like, I wish we could have got that. You know, same when it came to Kanye and Donda. Like, chop it in half, man. Like, great album you got. I'm looking forward, though, in the future to the Game's next project, because no, he will not be retiring. I just don't believe it. Big shout out to Hit Boy, man. Like, consistently, like, great produced tracks on here. So both of them, I'm looking forward to what both of these guys are going to do next. And I'm going to give this album a 6 out of 10. What were you guys' thoughts on this new Game album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What were your favorite tracks? Let's have a discussion down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Another week of Jason's Take. Got more videos coming for you next week. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Jason. This has been my take, and I'll see you next time.